Hi guys, it's Yo Tommy on YouTube, and I'm sorry it's taking so long for me to get this video out to you. I've had a lot of difficulties, but this is the Blazer that I told you about. 1998 Chevy Blazer LS Edition, two-wheel drive, four-door, with a 4.3 liter engine in it. And I'm going to show you what's inside, the HHO generator and the complete setup. Okay, here's where I'm tapping in my power, if you notice right there. Off that hot leg of that fuse, I've pulled the power and it's going over to this inline fuse here. It comes out, comes over, and it's kind of hard to follow it, but there it goes down that corrugated plastic there and over to the pulse width modulator over there. Here's the pulse width modulator. You see the knob turns up and down, pretty simple. It's eBay 15 amp pulse width modulator. They do have 30 amps for those guys who pull a lot of amps on their system. Put this power in, that's the power out. I am going to wrap these solder joints in a little while, but as of right now they're open. These are resonant charging chokes, or copper springs if you will. I made those and basically wrapped those up around a screwdriver and then separated them using a small piece of metal, and that runs down below the engine, and I'll show you where the cell's at. Looks like the front of most trucks. Looks like the front license plate of most vehicles. However, when I take out these screws, behind it you will see my HHO cell. Okay, I took the screws out, and here we go. This little drop down in here slides up and down. Backside's hooked on with Panduit straps, aka wire ties for those of you who are electricians and not AC man like myself. Here's the gas outline. We'll follow that in a second. There's the power in, and you see that white hose on the side right here that I tapped into the bottom. That comes up to the top, and I can fill it up inside this hose port here, a little valve here. I want to make a point to tell you, if you decide to do something like this and you have a fill hose like this and a valve on it so it doesn't backfeed, do not get a compression fitting valve like I did. That is the hardest thing to find, an adapter like this one right here, to go from the compression fitting back to normal thread. So make sure you get one that is not a compression fitting. Okay, let's hop back down here. Here's the gas line, and that comes up. It's kind of hard to see, but it's back in there. Comes up through there. I have a flashback arrestor, you can kind of see it in there. And goes into my gas intake right there. Okay, down here again on the fuel cell, I want to mention something. You see I have this port here. I used the T because I didn't have 290s, but I can pull these little rubber plugs off. There's one on that side, one on that side. I can drain my cell without having to take it off this little tray here. Okay, this is my voltage adder. Basically a power on and off switch. The power on and off switch was an accident. I bought it all off of internet. That switch there is actually 50 amp switch, and you really don't need something that big, so if you're going to build one of these, make sure to get something smaller. I have two 5K pots. I know on my voltage diagram I've got 10K pots, but I went ahead and used 5 and it works just fine. On the back here I have these are just little connectors for using on a RC car or something with 9 or 10 volt batteries, something like that. And they sell them at Radio Shack. So pretty much I have my power coming in here. This is actually from the cigarette lighter port over here. And that comes out here. Black goes to ground, and then the red runs out to the O2 sensors. So, okay, so I ran my wires underneath the vehicle here, behind the carpet pretty much most of the way. And then over here it comes out, and if you look, this is the hinge in the door here, and that would create a problem if it got caught there. But inside there, I strapped it to this piece of metal and put it behind the hinge where the door won't touch it, and it simply runs down and slides out in between the two sections of the frame. Welcome to the underside of my Blazer here. I have I think they're called a ring terminal splice connector or something like that. You see how basically some vehicles will be like a purple wire or a black wire. This is a 4-wire O2 sensor. 2 white wires are the heater wires. Then you have a gray wire for ground and a black for positive power coming from the O2 sensor. I spliced into the O2 sensor wire and then tapped in my other wire and ran it up to the truck where you just finished seeing it going. That's pretty much that, and then it's identical one on the other side because I have 2 O2 sensors. So now just want to let you know, this voltage adder does not work as well as the Cosm or an EFI, but it works. It takes a little more doing to get done and a little more tweaking to get it just right, but I will show you how it works in just a second here. I'm going to fire up the truck. Okay, I'm going to attempt to do this steady because I really hate watching YouTube videos where the movie camera jerks everywhere. But here's my O2 sensor being, my voltage adder being flipped on. You can't really see much change, but you can see how the tach just dropped there for a second. And the vehicle is shaking some, and it might even sputter out if I don't adjust it here. But I'm going to turn them back up, and the vehicle will steady back out. There we go. So that's with the knobs turned all the way clockwise. Let me do this here. Clockwise there. Counterclockwise. So there's no voltage coming out. And so right now we're running completely rich. It's just dumping fuel into the system left and right. Now I'm going to adjust these knobs over here to add some voltage in, and we'll see if we can get that drop for you there again. There you go. I think you just saw it move. I'm kind of looking at the box, not the camera. There you go. See it dropping up and down there. So, this isn't as perfect as a lot of the ones that are out there, but it works. And there you go, it's stable back out. So, you can build this. I would recommend if you can't afford the EFI, building it. But if you can, go ahead and get an EFI or a Cosm. It's just less hassle. But, yep, it works. And so that's the voltage adder part. Okay, now I'm going to answer that question that I'm sure people are going to ask, why do you not have a bubbler? Well, the main reason I don't have one yet is because I don't necessarily have room for a bubbler. So I'm planning on looking to see what I can do, something rectangle maybe, and see if I can't put it down in here and feed the hose into the side of it and then bring the hose all the other end. I don't know, I'll have to play with it, but that's the main reason I don't have a bubbler yet. I haven't had any flashbacks. I did test my flashback arrestor, which is really kind of hard to see in there. That might be a better shot of it there. You can kind of see that. So, I tested it with oxyacetylene, and it did pretty good. So, well, this is my total HHO setup, and that's pretty much the odds and ends of it. I just wanted to say that the first test that I had, I got about 60% increase. I went from 19.5 miles to the gallon. That's a mixture of highway and in-town driving. And I went up to 30.5. So 19 to 30.5 was my mileage increase. It's 11.5 miles, and you can do the math. That's about 60.253% or something like that increase. So I'm not going to claim that that's my final increase. May level out somewhere less, maybe more. We'll see. I'm going to be traveling to South Dakota, so we'll definitely have more steady results, and I'll get back with you. This is Yo Tommy on YouTube. See ya.